What's up, movie nerds? It's your girl CC, and let's get candid about A Working Man. I liked this film. It was a very fun beat-em-up movie that had me fully entertained for the entire 2 hours. Honestly, I was a little worried to go and watch this movie due to the other R-rated movies that I've seen this year, but I was pleasantly surprised and came out of it being glad that I went. After seeing this movie and Black Bag, I'm honestly convinced that my problem is with R-rated comedies and not simply R-rated movies due to the comedy's inherent nature.
Because they're rude, they're crude.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching Jason Statham take down several evil people just because they messed with the wrong girl. Now, this movie is not a movie that will change your life in any way, give you a message, or be more than its face value. But its face value is very fun. So, suspend your disbelief, enjoy the man being propped up by plot,
He can't be killed with bullets.
and root for the downfall of human traffickers. It's just simply a fun and deservedly violent time, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's just my initial review of the movie. Keep on watching to hear the full review and to see whether or not you want to give this movie a shot. There will be spoilers in the reasons for the rating. Be aware.
You have been warned.
And let's get this party started.
I mean, really, let's do this, mother!
First up is acting, and I give that a 5 out of 10. The acting was okay throughout the entire movie, all things considered. The bad guys seemed very bad. The good guys seemed morally gray, and the others were done well too. But you know, there's not much meat. There's not much sink your teeth meat acting in this movie. It's not a movie for that. Sure, the acting could have been better, but this movie is this movie, and you're just gonna have to deal with that.
It wasn't great, Harvey.
The only thing is that I think that Statham was trying to sound American in the first bit of the movie, you know, during his construction job, and he just can't do that accent well. He sounded just strange, like a British person trying to be American. I know that is exactly what he was, but you gotta actually convince folks. That's what acting is, and you were not convincing my guy.
What accent is that?
But then, you know, that was dropped entirely like 20 minutes into the movie and he went back to being British, so. This movie was mostly fighting, so there really wasn't much acting besides be angry, look cool, and to the girl, act kind of scared.
You should be more afraid.
It's nothing to write home about. You're not gonna have any Oscars out of this, you know what I mean? But to their credit, they did act well enough for you to get into the movie and stay into the movie. But that accent though, did you have a coach?
It could have been better.
Now for the story and script, which I give a 6 out of 10. I thought the story was fun and the script was good despite there being an immense amount of swearing. This isn't a completely new story. In fact, it's probably been done before. But I enjoyed this movie's take on it. The directors and the scriptwriters, I enjoyed their take.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
Everyone you liked lived at the end, but you were on edge in case something did happen. I mean, it is an R-rated movie. Anything could happen. And all of the bad guys get their comeuppance without undeserved forgiveness or a shoehorned in redemption arc. Every character was written how they would have acted, and I love that. It was a very good black and white story. For me, a movie that makes sense throughout the entire movie, with a satisfying ending of righted wrongs and happy faces, is just a great movie. You know, despite it not being a movie that'll change your life or give a message in some way.
No, sir. There's no message.
Sometimes 2 hours of pure violence for the greater good is fun, and it's okay to like it and indulge in it once in a while. What's not fun, or okay, is 2 hours of senseless violence, where you leave the theater just hollow and wondering why you sat there and watched hundreds or thousands of people dying for no reason.
What did I just say?
So I'm glad it wasn't that. Also, the kidnapped girl has a couple of girl boss scenes during her captive moments, and it actually works with the movie because all of it utilized her natural abilities and the art of surprise. An athletic and in-shape girl against people who underestimate her and drop their guards makes for perfectly believable scenes where she almost gets the better of them, delays plans, and almost escapes. Honestly, the only thing that kept her from getting full advantage in one scene was the number of people and the items they had at their disposal.
Out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Now for the theme, which I give a 7 out of 10. This theme is 100% revenge, and that 100% works for this movie. You mess with my family, I'll mess with yours. And if you come for the king, you best not miss. Plus, those teenage girls will think twice about going underage drinking, underage anything really, and going too far, am I right?
It's not legal.
Now for the details, which I give an 8 out of 10. Great sets and props, honestly. The different places all seemed real within this world, and necessary for the story. Plus, all the props were super fun and interesting to see. Especially the gun with Bluetooth on his phone that he had like right here. He pulls it down, and then he can watch. When he holds his gun this way, he can watch what the gun sees. That was pretty neat. So, all of it was super fun with like the weapons and the guns and everything that was just in it. Neat. Plus, all the continuity seemed on point, so that's good too.
I can assure you, these guns are of the highest quality.
Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the full review. So here's your spoiler warning.
Spoiler alert.
And let's get into the reasons for the rating. This was an R-rated action thriller film, and yeah, it definitely deserves an R rating, you know, considering all of the stuff that was crammed inside of it. So let's talk about that.
Sex, baby.
There was human trafficking in this movie, mostly talked about, but the girl did get kidnapped for this very reason. Plus, there were club scenes with scantily clad women and the like, but you didn't see any nudity, so that's good.
Drugs and alcohol.
There was pretty heavy drug use and drinking in this movie. There was underage drinking by a group of teenage girls that led to them getting drunk, and there were a few other people in this movie drinking hard liquor. There were also hard drugs in this film being dealt and used occasionally, plus the use of marijuana.
The gross stuff.
There wasn't too many gross things in this movie, but you know, they are there. So here are the couple of things that grossed me out. First and foremost, one of the drunken teenage girls vomited, and that's always disgusting.
Ew.
Someone started gargling water. There was a bite wound on a guy's face, like mangled cheek action, right? And also there was an extensive cleaning service used by the mob for when there was dead people, blood and guts and junk that the mob doesn't want getting out. So they pay people to, you know, clean it up and be quiet. So it's not exactly gross, but you did see a lot of the limbs like being, you know, chopped up and, well, not chopped up, but there were limbs just strewn about while the cleaning service did their deed, right? If you don't like unattached limbs, that could be gross. So there was a couple of times where blood would come out of people's mouths. Also, a man's face being drug along a wall, like just, that was kind of gross. And also a man's hand got shot through. You saw a bullet go straight through a man's hand. It wasn't that gross, but I'll put it here anyway.
Language.
They really let the swears fly in this movie in the form of the F word. Seriously, any other word in this movie was barely said. Seriously, other swears in this movie were barely said. They wanted to use the F word. Especially this one girl with face tattoos, she just said the F word like it was going out of style. Like she probably said half of the F words in this movie, which, girl, relax.
Do you know any other words?
Honestly, there was just too many of them. So here we go. There were 98 F words, 16 S words, 3 A words, 3 B words, and one other various swear. Now, a lot of the swears in this movie seemed deserved for the situation that they were in and who they were as individuals. But the one girl with the face tattoos, girl, you did entirely too much.
Was that necessary?
Who said do what you want? Because you shouldn't have taken them up on that offer. I don't know, you could have said anything else.
Time for violence.
First things first, this movie is kind of like Taken, in a sense where one guy has someone close to him kidnapped, which then definitely justifies 2 hours of discriminate murder. Seriously, no one got that shouldn't have gotten got, and it was great. So yeah, this movie was definitely violent. But the thing that kind of separates it from Mickey 17, Novocaine, and Love Hurts is it wasn't really violent in a gross way. It wasn't over the top, like Novocaine and Love Hurts liked to do, and it wasn't all on screen, like Mickey 17 wanted to do. It was tasteful. But you are definitely going into a movie with a lot of fight scenes, blood splatters, and guns.
Lots and lots of them.
Now, like I said, blood is still seen. There are blood splatters and stuff, but a lot of the killings aren't actually directly shown on screen. You still got the R-rated view of things, but it was more toned down. Something that anyone can really digest and be okay with. From clips that I've seen online that were like shoved in my face because of TikTok, Deadpool is on the high range of gross violence, whereas Weekend in Taipei is like a 0 on the gross violence when we're talking about R-rated movies. A Working Man is probably a 3 or a 4, where Love Hurts is like a 9, and Novocaine is like a 7, and Mickey 17 is probably a 6 or a 7.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, I will give a few moments that did stand out to me. So here's all the stuff that happened to the teenage girl. Obviously, she was kidnapped, and then she was drugged at points. One time, she was stuffed inside of a suitcase so that she could be sold, you know, without anyone seeing her. She was stuffed into a trunk of a car at one point, too. Then she was also held at gunpoint several times. And lastly, she was hung up on a hook by handcuffs so that some guy could do whatever he wanted with her. Thankfully, nothing happened.
I was worried there for a second.
Now, like I said before, she was very feisty and fought back a couple of times, where she got a couple of licks in, including, you know, that bite wound on that guy's face just tearing into his cheek. You did not see it happen, but you did see the aftermath when he came in and been like, look what she did. And she also strangled the girl with the face tattoos to death using her thighs.
I think I killed it.
Now to all of the stuff that wasn't about the girl. There were mafia guys, a lot of them, and they were very bad. I mean, one of them committed domestic violence, and I think the whole gang of them were the ringleaders of human trafficking. So when Jason Statham came in and wrecked their ish, you loved it, because you were like, these guys are getting what they deserved. They shouldn't have been these people. There was a couple of torture scenes that Statham did to a couple of the mafia guys, both involving water.
You realize we're going to torture you?
There was some grenade use and knife fights, and the one car fight, that was probably one of the more intense, violent scenes out of the entire movie. This is a stupid, violent movie, but you had to know, right? I mean, Jason Statham on the cover, you had to know. But at least all of the fight scenes were well choreographed and not disgusting. I mean, seriously, they were really well choreographed.
Prepare for the fight scene.
Overall, I give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. I liked this film. I enjoyed watching Statham just completely own these mob losers for 2 hours. It all felt real, like it could actually happen. You know, obviously with a bit of suspension of disbelief.
A lot of it, actually.
And you felt satisfied at the end with the results. All the bad guys got theirs, and the good guys get to walk off into the sunset. And this time, I'm not too pressed about the bad guys going out in hearses instead of paddy wagons.
That's what you get.
This movie wasn't a life changer. It was just fun. And you know what? It's okay if a movie is like that.
Wrap that up and give it to a child on Christmas, because we're done.
Thank you so much for watching this review. If you want to see any other movies, comment down below. Or comment anything, I will answer. Also, please share this with your friends, like, and subscribe, so I can keep making videos like this for you. Every Friday, I have a new review, so if you want to see something specific, comment down below. Also, don't forget, Mondays are 1-minute stub reviews, where I review a movie that I've seen before, right off the top of my head, unscripted, just for you. If you want to see any of those as real reviews, you know what to do. Again, thank you for watching, and just remember, right here at Candid Cinema, it's okay to talk, it's okay to text, and I will CC you later. Bye!